So here's an interesting angle. AI is becoming more prominent. ChatGPT, the more I use it, the more I'm impressed with it. Will there be a point where there's, let's just say, will write to GPT?
There needs to be fusion of academia, number one, and there needs to be fusion of academia of the right team.
I would say also, access to advice isn't easy though as well, Richard. I mean,
But that's my job is to disrupt the industry. My mission statement or the vision, forgive me, well it's not forgive me, is to get rid of lazy solicitors. Like I can't stand it. And the knowledge should be available.
I know.
We shouldn't be hidden behind veils.
No, I've talked about this with Mohammed off camera about, well, estate planning is not regulated compared to financial advice where you need a minimum academic level with the diploma, whereas anyone can write a will. So I'm with you on that. We need to get rid of the lazy.
It's not an attack on solicitors, but there are some very lazy.
Yeah, no, I've seen.
And it's sad. But people, as soon as you look the word lawyer, the default is, oh, I trust you, and you don't know that you don't know. And I'm like, this is not good. So regulated or not regulated, it's still going to be a problem. I think it just needs to, the knowledge just needs to be there, and then people's minds can then start to open up.
Yeah, so here's an interesting angle. AI is becoming more prominent. ChatGPT, the more I use it, the more I'm impressed with it. Will there be a point where there's, let's just say, will write to GPT, can have a conversation with the family, and understand all the nuances of the family dynamics and actually recommend, okay, here's the will and the trust that you need?
It's already there.
See that happen?
It's already there, but you need a human element. It's already there. The technology is already being utilised, and I think it's fantastic. I think the problem with AI is what you, well, at the moment, I'm sure the technology is there, but maybe not readily available, is what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you ask the question, you'll get an answer. But if you don't know what question to ask, you're not going to get the answer you need. Hence, the human intervention is still required. The expert is still needed to analyse, is this the right clause? Is this the right paragraph? Is this going to do what you need to do?
Yeah, you need the expert there to
So you can chat GPT all you like,
Yeah.
but if you don't understand what you're doing...
Correct. I think for the time being, ChatGPT is a resource for an expert. It is not a resource for a layperson. For a layperson to rely on highly sophisticated large language models like the likes of ChatGPT, it would be like driving a Ferrari without training. Or driving a HGV without training, right?
No, I've noticed.
I would mean, but having said that, give it 20 years, we're all out of a job.
We're gonna, we'll have to all move to India and start learning how to code AI. Anyway, but I've noticed because when I asked UK tax GPT to do a really complex capital gains tax calculation, I sent it to you. I remember. I went through all the steps and I noticed this is all correct, but there's this one thing here that is incorrect, and I wouldn't spot that as a layperson. If I knew I know my stuff. So I could spot that and correct it.
And that thing that you identified, all right, just that one thing out of, because I looked at it as well, out of everything else is correct. But that one thing,
it changes.
It screws everything up. If that client was to rely on that, the results of it.
Exactly.
Okay, so there is no substitute for professional expert advice. But I would also argue in terms of what needs to happen in a changing environment, okay, where you have this fusion of needing legal solutions as well as regulated financial solutions, is there needs to be a fusion of academia here, of this academic space, to create that new type of service or that new type of advisor, because we're increasingly seeing those people with disposable wealth, okay, going online, getting their own advice, undertaking their own investment management approaches to structure their ISAs and their pensions and so forth, which is all great on the face of it, right? It's giving you access to the world of investments, right? But because we're in the wealth management space and we know what the tax implications are, I can see with these, going down the DIY route, Yes, you're saving money on, let's say, fund charges, or you're saving money on not paying an ongoing advice charge. But what you're not seeing, because you don't know about it, is because you're losing access to all of the tax wrappers that needs to be structured correctly, which you can only really get via a professional advisor. And when I talk about tax wrappers, I'm not simply talking about ISAs and pensions here. I'm also talking about things known as SASs. I'm talking about stuff known as QROPs. I'm talking about stuff known as QNUPs. I'm talking about a family investment company. I'm talking about a lifetime settlement into a trust. I'm talking about an offshore trust. These are things that you would probably never have heard of.
I'm going to jump on the back of that, because, and again, I'm not attacking professional advisors, but you've got professional advisors who have no clue about what you just said. And so the person who's doing the DIY is like, well, why? Unless they meet someone like you.
Do you
understand what I'm trying to say? That's because that's the world that I see. I'm like,
well, that's the point I'm making. There needs to be a fusion of academia.
So if we, there needs to be a fusion of academia, number one, and there needs to be a fusion of academia of the right team, as opposed to we know it all mindset.
Correct.
It's like, well, we've been doing this for years, so you can't challenge our thinking, which there's a lot of companies out there that still think that way. We need to, that's why, family offices and things like that are so important. I know it's another level of wealth before you get there, but if we can have a collaboration, because I personally don't think I need to be an expert in every subject. I just need to know enough to say, this is not my area, let me speak to this person, or
but you're
blah, blah,
conversant.
Blah.
That's the crucial
that's
thing.
That's the point, and that's it. I think
most people aren't conversant. Most IFAs are not conversant in this particular space.
Exactly.
But most estate planners are also. When I say estate planner, should I say that? Let's say will writers. Okay, they're not necessarily conversant in this space. But where I'm saying is really good will writers, really good IFAs. Okay, they know the right questions to ask, and that is enough. Because if they're well-intentioned, they will find someone like Richard.
But that's my other point. How would a client know that you're a really good will writer or a really good lawyer or a really good IFA?
Okay, so whoever, I was about to say
forget.
Take a look at a Trustpilot review.
Forget Trustpilot, because it's relevant, right? I mean, you had a good service on what you are aware of. The paradigm has not been challenged. How do you know? That's my only question. How do you know what you don't know?
True. I don't know the answer to that.
No, but I'm trying. If we can disrupt that mindset and educate the client enough to say, well, I think this is what I need. And then challenge our advice. Because we're in very much an industry where I want to trust you, and that's it. Because it's regulated, it's your problem if you get it wrong.
Correct.
But the families still suffer.
No doubt.
Right? So how can we kind of shift the mentality that those who want to protect their wealth and pass it on, at least take an onus of responsibility to educate themselves enough? Because the technology is there, the research is there, but we're still like, well, okay, Google reviews, that's not enough. I mean, we need to get beyond that veil. And that's what I'm trying. I'm just kind of throw that out there.
You are 100% spot on, Richard. Okay, but this is where I think we both agree, all three of us agree. Okay, when we talked about the culture of learning, and I think we need to move away from a culture of selling to a culture of, just inculcate really great practice, great knowledge within your team. Okay, to get it to a certain level, and that will feed through into the marketplace. I actually really dislike selling. I mean, I've often said to Prajesh, I'm the worst salesperson ever. And it's testament to the fact that sometimes I'm with clients and I've spent so much time with them, given them enormous value. All right. And I can't close the case, and I'm thinking, you just don't like me. But we've got along phenomenally well, all right. But I shouldn't be too hard on myself, because what happens is often when you've got cases like that is I've bamboozled them to the extent that they also have to take a step back. I can't handle Mohammed anymore. I need to give this I need to put this on hold for like a couple of years. And then what's happened? Then I get an email saying, Mohammed, can we pick this up?
Right. What happens is they go speak to someone else who's incompetent and think, oh, we need Mohammed back.
That's happened recently with, I can't mention his name. All right. So, and he asked for me, put his, he put his details into my Calendly link. And I completely forgot he actually specifically wanted to have a chat with me. I got Prajesh to actually speak to him, which is great. But this is a client who engaged me like a year ago. Yeah. It's very clued up, but it's exactly what you said earlier, right? It's a DIY research person. Okay, so he knows a bit of a lot of stuff. Yeah. But it's those one or two areas that if he was to act upon, it could be disastrous for him and his family.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned him because when I spoke to him last week, it was really refreshing talking to someone that knew his stuff. I felt like saying to him at the end of the call, do you want to come join the team as an estate planner? Because he knew about the holdover gift. He knew about the holdover gift trust and the 10-year periodic charges on a discretionary trust. He just wanted to know a bit more about other ongoing costs to a trust, like.
Because I told him about it last year.
Right. Then I realised. But it stuck to him a year later. Yeah. So if more people were like that and they understand the need for it, it's easier.
But that's what I like. Challenge the advisors. I think that I think that should be. If more of that was about, I think advisors would up their game.
Yeah. And you know what? Yes, they would, but it will shift the character of the advisors within the industry as well, because those people who can't up their game, okay, they'll be forced to be left aside. Yeah. Okay, and there's no two ways about it, because right now, among the other things that I say is our competitor isn't each other. In fact, right? I don't even see you as a competitor.
No,
Richard,
exactly.
Right? You're a peer, and you're a peer who I admire incredibly. Our competitor is TikTok. Our competitor is Facebook, YouTube, the plethora of other devices and softwares that are taking crucial attention time from our prospects, and leads. The other thing that I say is we are often being out-marketed by people who know far less. But they may be incredibly prettier than us. We are being utterly out-marketed by a lot of them, and there's a lot of scammers in this space as well, which needs to be looked at quite closely.
Definitely.
Let's see. Let's talk about what other things that I have in my list here. The future of professional advice. What do you think? We have tied in some of it, but what do you think, Richard?
It's important. It's relevant. I think it's not going away. Yeah. I'd like to see it more as I'm going to use the word respected profession from the point of view, you come out of school, go to uni to do law. Yeah. I'd love people to come out of school to go to uni or a professional establishment to do private wealth. That would be really cool. I think, and we can get people on board earlier, sooner, with a mindset to say, right, I want to get into this space.
Great.
But it's required. It's not going to go anywhere else.
Right. What about you, Prajesh?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of factors that is affecting our industry. So we talked about AI already and how we're going to use that as a tool and see how that progresses. But I know you're being facetious earlier, but there's an element of truth of actually being replaced by a more advanced version, especially one that can start emotionally connecting with humans, because that's the key one, right? So that's one element. But I think the advisors that will do really well are those that spread their wings, so to speak. So understand small parts of different disciplines. Yeah. So rather than just being a estate planner or just a financial advisor, learning about both. Okay. Yeah. And I know in your case you're an estate planner, but you're doing your chartered tax exams. So it's a multidisciplinary approach. So, and this is becoming increasingly important as clients' needs become more complex, and they start to attain more information from things like TikTok and Instagram, and start to learn more and apply it in a DIY approach. So yeah, that's going to become really important.
I think also, I agree with all of that. In addition to that, I would say in the wealth management space, the ongoing advisor relationship that we have as professionals in this regulated arena will go a very, very long way for our clients to subsidize quite significantly all of the other non-regulatory work that we actually end up doing by virtue of being engaged with clients who have a lot more complex needs. Which is why I've said to you also in the past, Richard, you should be, or you should, if you did have the time and had the interest, really go down the regulated financial planning route, because I think you'd be an asset to the industry.
Thank you. But as you said, time.
I know.
It's nothing to do with passion. I love learning, academic salesman, but it is time. And I wouldn't say never. As I say, never say never. But I totally agree, because even the CTA route, you touch on IFA topics very easily. Yeah, absolutely, because it's just necessary. Simple, like business relief. When is it valid? When is it not invalid?
Yeah.
And IFAs would touch on that.
Yeah.
Tax advisors would touch on it.
Yeah.
And businesses need to know, and accountants may touch on it. So just something that I wouldn't say simple, but it can get quite complicated quite quickly, depending on how the business is structured and what's going on. So I agree, multidisciplinary approach, knowledge and studies is vital. And I think any advisor who just enjoys their work would want to learn more anyway. I think that's just...
It protects the advisor as well.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple streams of potential income. We've covered a lot of topics today, guys. I forgot. We covered a lot.
I know. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Richard.
No, thank you. It's been good. It's nice to meet and to discuss. So I like it.
Great. Until next time. Thank you.